Yeah, happy June. Happy Pride Month. Happy, what day is it? Thursday. Happy Thursday. Welcome, friends. I'm going to give it another minute or two, let our fashionably on-time folks come on in, and then we'll get chatting. Hi. Hello, hello. I think I see a grumpity in here. You there? You got voice? Checkity check. Hello.
Hi.
There we
Hello.
go. Okay. Now we can get started, now that I know Grumpity has voice. Hey, everybody. Happy June. Happy Thursday. Happy Pride Month. Welcome. I think if I'm counting correctly, I think this is our 5th monthly mobile user group. That's a mouthful. We are very happy to see you all. As usual, you have your regular crew of Second Life Mobile Lindens here with you. I'll shout them out. I think you know us by now, but just in case, yeah, we have Grumpity Linden, our SVP of all the things here at Linden. We've got Adam.
All of them.
We've got Adam, our lead dev on the project here. We've got a Brad Linden, another developer on the project. Hey, Brad. We've got a Beanie, who's our lead QA on the project here. Hey, Beanie. And I think I saw a Stray around here, very important, helping us on the back end with our infrastructure. Thank you, everybody. Cool. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. All right. Before we get started, just a quick reminder, we are here to listen and chat with you, share our updates, listen to your concerns and questions, hopefully answer some questions. But please, if you're not talking, mute your mic. If you are talking, we'll try not to talk over each other, and we'll try to keep up with the nearby chat. Apologies if I'm trying. You can tell I'm already trying to multitask. We'll do our best to juggle as we do. Okay, let's get started. So I'm super stoked to be here today to hot on the heels of yesterday when we released our latest version of our apps. And I wanted to take just a minute to go through what we released yesterday. Adam, can I lean on you to talk about some of the avatar improvements we made this round?
Yes, we did. So there's a few more improvements in this update. There were a few sort of surprising last-minute ones that didn't quite make the cut into the previous release that came out this time around. So most of these fixes are concentrating around deformers. I know that we sometimes get reports from people saying they're not wearing deformers. It actually turns out you might be. A lot of meshes have them in secret in various ways, but some of the default deformers weren't getting handled correctly. So those are the ones that aren't supposed to modify any bones. Turns out that there is some confusion inside the desktop viewer as to which value to read when ignoring deformers. So we end up having to replicate that. I assume it's a bug in the mobile client to get them to behave correctly, but now we're hoping that that's improved things considerably for avatars. We've got a internal test sheet, and unfortunately it's been a little while since I looked at that, but Bridie, do you remember what our total is up to? We've got the 85, and I think we're into the 60s now.
I'd have to double check. We're getting closer. I know that.
Yeah, I think
1,600.
it's almost 70 now
Yeah,
out of the
sounds right.
85. And we added a few new avatars to that mix as well, so it's no longer 85. We've got a few new ones coming in, thanks to all your reports. So as I said, I'm hoping that improves some things for more avatars. I was going to talk today about how we're going to have to put a little bit of a pause on avatar improvements because we've got some general rendering improvements coming down the pipeline. But in the process of doing a demo today, I actually spotted another bug with avatars. So we might get one more avatar fix in the next update. We're actually shifting focus a little bit towards general rendering improvements, and that's going to improve things like how long avatars are silhouetted for, loading times, the amount of content that's displayed, that kind of thing. Because that's an area that we've been working on for a while, but we've now got a big side branch with all these improvements that needs to be merged in, and it's going to take us a little while to get that through and stable again. But we're hoping that the benefits will be worth it for everyone.
Yeah, I hope so too. Did you also want to talk about water everywhere?
Yes, you can thank Austin for this one, who was very insistent in our Discord and made many comments to Bridie, which ended up on my desk. And I'm pleased to say that over a Saturday afternoon, I went through our water shader and figured out why it wasn't rendering correctly, so that it was not quite so visible. And then I had a look at the Second Life desktop one and decided, you know what, we could probably get this pretty close. So the water shader that is in the mobile viewer is now a bit more accurate, and it's also a lot more accurate in low lighting conditions, which the previous one had some real problems with. I think I put some screenshots around there somewhere, but I'm not sure they've quite made it into any public places yet. But if you open up the mobile app, you should see that water at least looks a little bit better. And yes, you can thank Austin for telling us about that.
Yeah, it got mentioned, it got filed as a ticket in our feedback portal, and yeah, made it on our backlog. So yeah, as we've said, we are paying attention and listening, and we like beautiful water scenes too. Uh, Also, it is worth mentioning we made some improvements to the V-Stick controller. You may have noticed that in the app. The size is a little bit different, a little bit bigger, and it fades out really nicely, much closer to Pluto's original design. So that was great. And another one that was asked for, I think there was a ticket on it, and I'm sure it was mentioned in Discord more than once, was the setting to enable or disable auto login. Uh, I know when you're logged in on the desktop and then you might move to your mobile client for a reason, you may or may not want it to auto log in. Yeah, thanks, bumping. So that's in there now too. So hope you're enjoying that. I also realized we actually have done 2 releases since we last met. So Grumpy, do you want to talk about one of the other things that came out on iOS just after our last monthly meeting?
Oh, I suppose. Um, so one of the things we had been working on in the background was adding the ability to purchase Linden dollars on mobile. While we are aware that there's not a ton of ways for you to spend those Linden dollars and then see the results of your spending, um, there are a few. You could go to a show and tip a performer. You can do object pay, um, etc. And also, Apple pretty much required us to get that feature in by a certain timeline. So whether we thought this was the right time or not, it was the right time. This also may highlight the reason why we only put support for in-app purchases on iOS. Um, it is also practically the same amount of work to put it in on the Android app as it was for iOS. So it's not like the work is just done when we do one platform. We had a few, and that is like less than 5 questions about supporting in-app purchases on Android. They're on the roadmap, but frankly, we would like to focus our attention on feature development that makes being able to buy Linden dollars more meaningful on mobile. That said, we have seen some people buying, and I think one of the kind of um, side benefits of supporting in-app purchases is that whatever payment methods are supported by Apple are supported through mobile app in-app purchases. Questions?
I don't see or hear any questions about that, but while you've got the mic and we're talking about roadmaps, can you talk a little bit? There was a question on Discord about the update, requesting an update on our progress to chat history and working across platforms.
How come I get all the not fun questions? Okay, well, we really have long believed that in order for mobile to be a fully reasonable path for Second Life as a companion in particular, you have to be able to access all of the chats, conversations, group messages, inventory offers, etc., regardless of whether they came in while you were on mobile or desktop. And so to that end, we set to kind of redesign the entire back end for how all of this is stored. As you probably know, right now, we store all of your chat history on your device, right? So that you're fully in control of it. You can copy it, you can delete it, whatever. In order to support multi-platform access, we have to have some sort of cloud storage for all of your chat history and event history. That means we have to create an API to access all of this chat history. We have to put in controls to make sure that there's not like shady ways to access this history by agents who are not you and who are just trying to steal your information. Today, if an account is, for example, fraudulently taken over, the attacker wouldn't be able to see chat history. If it is stored in the cloud, that is a bigger risk. And on and on. All of this means is that it is not a simple feature and it requires careful consideration. And therefore a thoughtful infrastructure and a lot of testing. And this isn't just something we can do on the mobile team. It requires working with all of the teams, in particular the server team, of course, that owns these services. So there's a dependency there on getting this right. This is before we even talk about the ability to be on mobile, but not logged in through the viewer. In the meantime, though, so the answer is we are aware of the importance of it. We're working on it. It's coming, but I don't have a timeline for you yet because of all of this complexity. In addition to that, as part of this work, what we'd like to do is also create a mode where you're logged in on mobile, but you're essentially only in the lobby and you're not in world. So you could be in the lobby on mobile and then logged in world on desktop, for example. And so you'd still be able to see the messages coming in, but not move around the world. We call it be nowhere. In the meantime, though, clearly it was a problem that every time you would log in and out of the mobile app or restart it, you'd lose all of the chat history. So what we created is some cloud storage, but it only covers the mobile chats right now, which is why it's not stored on the phone, unlike desktop. However, it does allow you to retain all of the chat history that you had on mobile. Make sense? Questions, comments? I see some in the chat.
Yeah, did you want to add anything else out loud, Adam?
I think that probably covers it for now. But
Yeah.
I know that this is a problem the team is acutely aware of and really wants to figure out the best way of solving it.
Yeah. I was also noticing another item that came up on Discord and is very popular in the feedback portal, and that's around the map. Pluto, did you want to take the mic for this one?
Yeah, and I think I want to adjust our format a little because this is not so much, just speaking to the request, but I would love to take a minute and feel free to respond in chat. We've seen lots of requests for in Canny and in Discord for adding the map, and that is something, a version of that is something that we could do. But as you all know, there's basically three different kinds of maps that we have. We have a mini map in the viewer. We have the map in the viewer, which gives you all the depth of, land for sale and finding friends and finding locations and teleporting to them. And then we have the web-based maps that are more limited in their features. And so, I've seen on a couple of occasions the request to add maps be the original person writing about it will say, I'd love it if you add the mini map, and then subsequent upvotes in Canny will say, yeah, I really want to be able to find places and teleport to them, clearly referring to not the mini map. So we wanted to poll you, our diehard users, and those of you who are stakeholders, to find out a little bit more about which version of maps really offers a compelling value to you, and why. So I welcome anyone who wants to speak about it, or if you want to put it in the chat, I would love to see. Maybe if you all need time to think about it, we can come back to it too. So feel free, if you're not sure or need to give it some thought, we can come back to it in the Q&A. But yeah, I want to open the floor to anyone. I see Ruby. The mini map is useful for people knowing if other residents are within chat range right now. Oops, it disappeared. Right now, there's really no way for people to tell. Okay, so that would be you're putting your emphasis behind the mini map specifically. Eric, this was briefly touched on yesterday in the web user group, with someone noting that it would be nice if the web map and the in-viewer world map were more unified in terms of their features. I completely agree. And I think that is work that we want to do, although that would be a much larger effort than incorporating one of these. But yes, bumping pixels, I hate to be that person, but both the mini map is important for finding somebody in close proximity, but the world map to teleport to a region by name is pretty important. Yes, yeah, and I think that's not a bad piece of feedback. Like, that is why we have two different kinds of maps, because they and stand on their own. A mini map. This is Nick's Onyx. A mini map showing the relative location of others to me would be most useful to me, but I'd also like to be able to search for regions and get to them with or without a map showing. So yes, that almost sounds as though it's a vote for minimap and a vote for at least the part of search that exists within the map, but not necessarily the map display itself, if I'm understanding you correctly, Nix. Eric says, I know that's not mobile specific, but if the web map provided more functionality akin to the viewer's map, it might be easier to integrate somehow into mobile. Yeah, I think it's a little bit anemic now, the web maps, but yeah, it could be a lot easier to integrate into mobile if we were to add at least some of the features for finding things and searching on the map instead of the way it currently works. I think it's a little bit limited, but that might be the path that we would explore if everyone is saying that they really do want some version of the viewer map. We might expand the web map first. Eric agrees both are useful in different ways. Grumpy whispers. I'll let you whisper. That's true. Okay. I think at this point we're all responding to each other. So Ruby says at one point the web map is already usable with SL Mobile.
Yeah, that's a good reminder.
That is a great reminder. We
Mm-hmm.
do the work to at least make it display correctly on a mobile screen. I don't think any of us would say we're done. Yes, there is a version of maps that do work on the web that you can access on your phone. So great, this is all really good feedback, and we'll capture this and feel free to share more later or via Canny or Discord. We are paying attention and value the feedback.
Yeah, this is all very helpful. And in that same vein, Pluto and I have been talking a lot this week, and well, like we always do with the whole team too, but we have been really thinking more about, you know, how we use the mobile app and how we can make it even more useful, especially for this group. And so we have a set of things we've been kicking around, and similar to the exercise we just did, I would love it if we would go through a few items and if we could get your thoughts and feedback, and Pluto chime in too, give your perspective on these things that we think would really benefit you guys and get you to use the app more than just, we love that you log in to get your daily rewards, but we do want it to be useful and delightful and fun. So with that in mind, let's go through the handful of things we were talking about, Pluto. Um, One we were just sort of touching on, but and I saw this on Discord too, and that is the desire to sort of always be logged in, much like other apps you might use on your phone where you don't have to log in every time. And I'm curious, what this group thinks about that.
Yeah, and just to add a little finer
Hmm.
point on it, what we're alluding to there is that you would be logged into Second Life, but not having to be in world in order to access things. And by doing that, that would mean that you could see your chat, see who's online, see and respond to chat, and a variety of other things while you preserve your maybe you're in Second Life on desktop already. It wouldn't interrupt that session. It wouldn't require that you need to log in every time you use the app or wait for it to log in. And it wouldn't certainly require you be standing somewhere in order to do anything. Does that sound like something to this group that would make a substantial difference in how often or how meaningfully you're able to use the app? I see, Nix, you're saying effectively yes. You don't really need to see the world. Oh, you're still referring to the map. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm just reading all of your notes.
Yeah, I'm reading as well. Yeah, maybe I'll take a turn at reading some of these out loud. Yeah, Bumping's saying that sort of connectivity would be huge. I'm already online on desktop for the majority of my waking hours on most days. Thank you. Whether I'm at my desk or not, I'd enjoy being able to see and respond to messages that arrive while I'm not at my desk, maybe getting lunch or something. Yep, yep. Luke says it was if I was able to access my chat log across my devices. Yep. Using a custom path that is on Google Drive or similar, or having the chat logs on LL Cloud, I would be using the mobile app every single day. Lol. Yep. Plus one. I have more than 700 files in my chat log. I can't lose that when I'm talking to someone. Hear that loud and clear?
7,000.
Yeah, wowzers. Next. Ruby says, I think people would get more use out of that. Yes, it's easier to check and reply to messages while you have a moment waiting for the bus if you don't have to load everything in and worry about where you are in the world. Yep. Yeah, some of this we're restating the, not wanting your using mobile to break your chat history on the desktop. So that ability is super important. Um, yeah, maybe I'd like some more feedback on it. Would that separation be useful? Being able to be logged in on desktop and on mobile at the same time, or maybe another way to think of it is one not interrupting the other. Yeah, being able to use mobile as a supplement to the desktop viewer. And Julie says, yes, it would be for me. Mm-hmm. Eric says, rather than trying to make the mobile viewer replace the desktop. Mm-hmm.
I think the spooky, our intention would be that we would make a distinction between somehow being able to receive messages and being physically present in the world. So saying that you're online when you're just looking at messages that have come in but aren't present would be something that we would be careful to differentiate for people, and perhaps, if possible, give you control to what your visibility is in that state.
Yes, Nix has voted for this more than once. I think that is true. While you're on or not on desktop using the mobile app as a companion app. Oh, Discord does that. You have regular status and the mobile online status. Huh. Okay. Cool. Similar but different. I'm curious about switching accounts. If I had to guess, this group may have alts, or you may use other apps for your switching between various online accounts. My dogs may or may not have their own Instagram accounts, for example. If that were easier to do on mobile, or any thoughts you have, votes for or against? I'll just keep reading through the chat here. So I'm trying to stay on top here. Having mobile, Eric says, I would add that having mobile, especially for chat purposes, would be vital to having a Discord last read indicator. Yeah, to let Nick, yeah, where you are. That was on that one. Nick says, yeah, it would be great to have, I think that was switching easier on both mobile and computer. Ruby says, I don't particularly find switching between alts all that challenging on mobile already. Okay. Eric says, this is something desktop viewers really need as well to make the conversations window and multiple tabs easier to manage. Mm-hmm. Josie says, yes, I find it hard to switch account as the fields for typing in pop up to the top of the screen. Mm-hmm. And then Ezra says, having multiple in the lobby, as you referred to, simultaneously would be kind of neat. But I don't find switching accounts to be cumbersome or currently. No worse than desktop. Sorry, Pluto, were there other use cases around switching that you wanted to poke at?
No, I think you asked the question well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that for what it's worth to
Mm-hmm.
this group, we're contemplating these features as a group of features that would more or less be things we could try to deliver together. So the thought was, are all of these things that we're talking about, switching accounts,
Mm-hmm.
not losing chat messages,
Mm-hmm.
and having the mobile app not interrupt your desktop session, if we were to work on those and deliver those, we were hoping to get a feedback on whether you all thought that was really directionally right. And it sounds like we're getting a lot of positive signal that it would be, and a lot of nuance. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Yes. Very, very, very helpful. All right. I'm gonna feel free to make more comments in the chat or voice if you're feeling brave. But I'm gonna move us along. I think Beanie has some tips and tricks for us this week on using the mobile app. Beanie, what do you have? you, Beanie?
Go back to lobby without having to log out and log back in. This feature appears only when you logged in World. You can easily go on the menu and tap Go back to lobby to get back on that page. The second feature I wanted to discuss is how to wear a group tag. This feature is disabled by default, but if you want so, you have to do 2 steps. Actually, it doesn't matter which way you're doing it. First, you would need to enable it. You want to go to Menu, then hit Settings, go to General, and then toggle Show Group Titles on. You will see that it's off by default. Once you've done this, go again to Menu, People, select, go to Groups, select any group that you want to wear a tag on of, and scroll through your groups, find the group, and then tap Wear Group Tag. And once you X out, it should appear on your mobile device. And the last feature I want to talk about is one of the newest feature is privacy data sharing setting is now available on mobile. If you want to change that, you should be able to go to settings and then hit privacy and then either disable it or enable it. That's it for today. If you guys want to know something else about any feature, let me know. I will be happy to walk you through this.
Yay! Thank you, Beanie. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. Cool, cool, cool. I think we made it through my my outline, my agenda for today, but I'm happy to turn it over and have open mic if you have more questions we want to discuss, or we can just hang out. The floor is yours, friends. Or if any Lindens have anything that came up or that I missed, please chime in. Well, maybe I'll just try to ask one more question and then we can disperse for the day. A shout out or type, like, what's your favorite thing about the mobile app? What do you like to use it for? I'm curious. For me, it's probably going to clubs and dropping in and seeing what's going on and listening to music.
Bridie, we have 2 questions in the
Oh,
chat. I don't
okay.
know if you've seen these. Zia, I'm not sure, Zia, that I understand what you're asking, but I want to call it out, so maybe you can clarify. You ask, is there a Steam? And then you say, I like seeing things on my phone, but Lumia levels is fine. Yeah, I think you're referring to Steam, but I didn't want to assume. Also, while you may clarify that, Nix is asking, any idea how it's going on fixing the issue with hangs while the lobby is loading?
Nix, we might need some more repros on that. I don't know. I if I remember correctly, it was intermittent. Beanie, I don't know if you can repro that one or not.
Oh, which one? Hanging on the lobby?
Mm-hmm.
Typically, it could be resulting network issues. So I would just suggest to relog or quit the app to reload.
Yeah, I mean, Adam is taking a look at networking again, so we'll see if we see that during our while we're investigating other networking concerns. But I haven't seen it. I don't know if I've certainly not seen it recently, Nix. And if you haven't, bug me, and if you have sent in a bug report from the app.
Yeah.
Now I've gotten behind on chat. Yeah, we're
There's
not on Steam.
they're saying that they get it every time they load.
Huh.
So clearly
Wow.
there's a
Okay.
repro there.
Yeah. Yes. Send in a bug report, or I'll go looking for it. Ruby's doing more scripting for objects that specifically work for mobile, and it's been challenging. Yeah. Yeah. Adam notes rightly, there are improvements planned, but yeah, haven't reached the top of the list just yet. Yeah, we would love to hear more. Mhm.
Adam, you want to talk about PBR support? I know we've covered it a couple of times, but it's worth another.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So this is the I mentioned a moment ago when I was talking about the upcoming rendering improvements. The thing that is blocking us from doing PBR support is that work. So we've still got one more thing to do after these rendering improvements land. But what they're going to give us is they're going to give us the free memory and sort of spare rendering capacity to be able to add PBR into mobile, which is something I'm really keen to do because we've already got the renderer prepared for it. We just need to start loading all those extra textures.
Sounds easy.
Not too hard.
Bumping's asking, will it be? Yeah, should be closer to desktop. Yep. All right, last call for feedback, compliments, or favorite things, or things that are bothering you we should take a look at. Well, friends, I think maybe that's a wrap. Thank you again for coming out and joining us. We really, really appreciate your feedback. You know how to reach me in World and in Canny. I think Adam gave out my email address last time.
Sorry.
No, all good. No, actually, nobody's bombarded me with anything. Yeah, we really appreciate your love and support. All right, have an awesome Thursday. I'm gonna grab the chat notes here so we can make sure we have collected your
Bridie,
feedback.
there's a
Oh yeah,
quick question from Eric. It doesn't seem to be a mobile user group meeting scheduled for next month yet. Is that on the calendar yet?
I think because of the Second Life birthday celebrations, we are planning to skip a month, and also because we had to push May out to this month.
Ah,
So
they're,
that might
yeah,
be
they're saying
what
they
happened
see it
there.
July 31st. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you everybody for
Yeah,
coming.
thanks.
See you in World.